Hello and welcome to Getting Fit in Memphis. My name is Yvette Smith, Memphis' leading personal trainer, and today I have a special guest with me on the show. His name is Mr. Clarence Bass. Some of you may have already heard of Mr. Bass. You may have even read one of his books. Mr. Bass is an author, a retired attorney, an entrepreneur, a husband, an athlete, and more importantly, he is a role model in the health and fitness industry. With all due respect, please welcome to the show, Mr. Clarence Bass. Mr. Bass, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. I admire what you've done in fitness the last couple of decades, so I'm looking forward to talking with you.
I am so excited to have you on the show. I asked Mr. Bass to come on the show because he has been a personal mentor and motivation for me, and I know that he can be motivation for our viewers. Mr. Bass, can you give us a more detailed description of your background?
Well, my dad brought home a barbell set when I was in the 5th grade, and I always say the most important thing I ever did was to pick up that barbell because it showed me that if you set goals and work hard, you can set the pattern for your life. And I think that's what gave me confidence to win a fitness contest when I was in high school and then go on to have confidence to enter law school and on from there.
Wow. You said 5th grade, so can you tell us, Mr. Bass, at this time what your age is?
I'm 78.
Oh, wow. So what has kept you motivated to continue to work out all of these years?
Well, what keeps people motivated is progress. You have to see that you're achieving something with your training. And I think that's something that people forget as they get into their later years of training. You have to find some way to move forward. So when I topped out in Olympic lifting when I was about 35, I decided that I would go into physique because I knew that I could improve there. So I trained for that. And as you know, I won my class at the Past 40 Mr. America. But I didn't stop then. I had a column in Muscle and Fitness magazine that ran for 16 years. And I was motivated to provide a new photo for the column each month. And that kept me training, and I actually improved considerably after I stopped competing. And then I found the concept too, rowing competition where you compete with people all over the world. So I tried to improve on the rower, and I just kept doing things like that, and that's what I've kept doing. So I plan each workout, and I have goals, and I try to improve in some way on every workout. And that's what's kept me going for about 65 years. That's really worked.
Wow. So can you tell us a little bit of information about your writing in the Muscle and Fitness magazine? Any information that you shared or learned?
Well, I was acquainted with Bill Reynolds, who was the editor-in-chief at Muscle and Fitness at the time. In fact, he had taken some photographs of me. And so when I had the manuscript done for my first book, Ripped, I sent it to him. I thought he would be a good one to assess how it would do because he'd written maybe 5 or 10 bodybuilding books already, which were bestsellers. And a day or two later, I got a call back from him, and he said, I stayed up all night reading this book, reading Ripped. He said, I'm excited. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm going to show it to Joe Weider. Joe Weider, of course, is the editor or the publisher of a Muscle and Fitness magazine in the Weider publishing empire. He said, Joe wants to see you. So I flew out, and I had a meeting with Joe. I don't think Joe ever read the book, but he did read the table of contents, and he said that's what every bodybuilder wants to know. So that's what that meeting led to my writing the RIP department column in Muscle and Fitness for the next 16 years.
Can you give us some information about your RIP book, some of the information that you have in your book?
Well, I've written 10 books now, and that's over about a 35-year period. The first book was in 1980, was Ripped, which told about my preparation for the Past 40 physique competitions. And one of the things that really set the stage for that book was Loveless Medical Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico, is a big medical complex, and they'd done the testing on the original astronauts, and they called me. What they were trying to do is to see what would be the best exercise to prepare the astronauts for weightlessness in space. Somebody told them about me, somebody that was mainly a weight trainer. So they called me and brought me up and did a lot of testing. I don't know what a lot of it was about, but one thing that certainly was that I got was on the bicycle test, the stress test. And of course, weightlifters are not supposed to have very much in the way of endurance. And it turned out that I stayed on the bike test about as well as Billy Mills, who won the 10,000 meters at the Olympics.
Wow.
Now, his time was still better than mine because it's based on body weight. And I weighed more than he did. Anyway, that really got their attention. And I noticed that there was a hydrostatic weighing tank where they weigh people to determine their body fat level. And I told them that I was preparing for this Mr. America Past 40 and it would be great to know what my body fat was. And it turned out that my body fat was 2.4%.
Wow.
And I really didn't know what that was, but the fellow that ran the program up there sat down and explained to me that most people my age, body fat percentage is about 25%. That teenagers or college students are about 15, and marathon runners are about 6.
Wow.
So I thought, man, I've been doing something right here, and I better start investigating more. And they must have weighed me about 20 times, never charged me a penny. So I was able to track my progress when I was eating different diets, doing different training systems, and that was the background for the book, the RIP book. I don't think any other book had been written like that was background with the body composition tests done by a famous medical center. So I explained in that book where I tried the low carbohydrate diet because that's what everybody was doing, and it didn't work for me. You just feel terrible on the low carbohydrate diet. You can't think, you can't do anything. So I switched to a balanced diet of whole foods. And I explained the difference in my body composition when I did that in the book. So that kind of set the groundwork for my first book, and then I went and wrote this. I try to make it a point to not write the same book over again. I think a lot of people, they turn out book after book, and it's basically just the same thing with a little different shuffling. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to wait until I had something important, some new development to write about. So I've written RIP 2, RIP 3, and then that was about the time that I got into the rowing. So I wrote my book called Lean for Life, which was about a balance of strength training and aerobic training. Mm-hmm. That was my first balance, I call it balance training. And then I went on to write Challenge Yourself, which focused on the importance of high-intensity training. And then finally, the book that I wrote at 70 was Great Expectations. And my latest book is Take Charge. And the way that Take Charge book is different is I've come to think that there are many different ways, through my research, many different ways to train that work, and many different diets that work. And the important thing that people need is to find the one that appeals to them, that they're good at, that they enjoy, they're willing to keep doing. And this book kind of laid out the various examples of what they could do. And because people are only going to do things that they enjoy and that they make progress on. So that book kind of laid the groundwork for almost anybody that wanted to read the book and find a way that would work for them. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the long answer, but you asked me a big question.
I appreciate it. That is definitely to be commended, what you're doing. Do you have any DVDs available in your...
Yes, we have 3 DVDs, 3 RIP DVDs, which kind of parallel books. A lot of things you can't really get through to people with just the books, but if they can see it in action, seeing me fixing food and exercise and so on, so they complement the books. They don't replace the books, they complement the books. We have 3 of those.
Do you offer any classes as far as your RIP series is concerned?
Well, I do telephone consultations, and also people come in and spend the weekend with us.
Oh,
But the main thing I do is we have a website, and we started the website in 1996, and I've written one or more articles for that website. Now we have more than 400 articles on that website in 10 different categories, and we're posting new articles in the first of every month. So they're absolutely cutting edge, the very latest in diet and exercise and health and fitness. The fitness aspect of health, how being fit makes you more healthy. So we're very busy. We feel like we have a lot to offer, and an awful lot of information that could help a lot of people.
Mr. Bass, do you have any children?
I do. I have a son. He's about 43 years old. Makes me feel very old, but he's doing very well.
Does he exercise, or did he start exercising as a child? Or?
He has done some weight training, but he doesn't do quite as much as I'd like him to do, but it's got to be his idea. I think that was the one thing my dad did for me, is that he saw that I was interested and that I was making progress with the lifting. So he bought some equipment for me, and when I was moving along in Olympic lifting, I wanted to know if I would go down, if I wanted to go down and enter the state championship. And I said, no, I didn't think so. But he just planted the seed, and the next year I did enter the contest. That was my first contest. So I've tried not to push him, but I think the best way to affect your children is by example. And he's always been very careful about his eating. He's not overweight. He's doing well in his job. He works for Forest Lawn Funerals out in California, and he's a manager. So he's done very well.
That's great. I was asking because I have a 4-year-old, and she was basically born in the environment, so she kind of gravitates towards it anyway. But just for the viewers, as far as how to get wanting to know how to get their children involved and, in exercise and the health.
Yes, I saw your program with her. She's really a cutie.
Thank you so much. So what advice would you give our viewers as far as trying to start an exercise program, if they're beginners?
Well, the mistake that people make is they're in too big a hurry. They read my books, they call me or write and said, how long is this going to take? And that's absolutely the wrong question, because you can't be in a big hurry. You need to look on training as a lifetime thing. So you need to bite off a little bit at a time. So a good program for most people, if they haven't been training, is to start walking. And they're not, we shouldn't be trying to walk 10,000 steps a day or anything, but just they would walk 3 times a week, maybe for 15, 20 minutes, maybe working up to 30 minutes. And then when they see some progress there, and they should take their time. They might add a couple of weight training sessions. You can do a lot in a 30-minute weight session twice a week. And then they might start focusing on their diet. You do it a little bit at a time, but you want to succeed at each step. And you don't want to get ahead of what you're willing to do. So each time you plan an exercise program or a diet, you want to think about it. Can I really stick with this? Am I going to enjoy this? And if the answer is no, you should go back to the drawing board and think about it again, that this is a lifetime project. And you don't just, and I know that you've helped thousands of people lose weight. You can't, when they lose the weight, they can't just say, boom, I'm here, and then they go back to doing what made them fat in the first place. So it's got to be a continuous lifetime thing. And if you approach it that way, there's an article on our website that I wrote a couple of years ago about why New Year's resolutions don't work. And it's based on this, what I've just explained to you in a very short nutshell fashion, but it's in more detail. And about how, if you make yourself hungry, that just makes it harder to stay on your diet. So you need to find a diet that makes you feel full and satisfied, but doesn't doesn't give you more calories than you need. There's been a new book out that I've just written an article about, which will be on our March 1 update, which confirms that approach that I've been following since 1980. So there's a lot of exciting things, and we're learning more and more about what to eat and exercise, and what a tremendous effect it has on our aging and our health. And the best way to stay away from the doctor is to eat healthy and exercise.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. One of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, why I'm so excited, and you've been so motivating to me, is because you're consistent. You know, and that's hard as a trainer for me to get my clients to understand that it's a lifelong process, and you have to be consistent. You know, realistic things that you're doing. So
that's right. That's the most important thing, is to be regular in your training.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to figure out how to do that, and it comes back to what I said before. You have to find something that's interesting to you, and then see yourself making progress in each workout. So you stick with it, and if you figure out, even if you're only going to walk, you have to figure out a way to do that regularly, because walking for a few months and then stopping, you might as well have not started in the first place. You need to find something that you enjoy, that you want to, where you look forward to each workout. And there's a way that almost anybody would enjoy. And they think of exercise as a hair shirt thing, and it's not. It's something that you should enjoy. You get a real boost from each workout, and you think, man, I want to get back here and do it again. But you have to keep making progress. But bite off what you know you're going to be able to do, and then when you see you can do that, maybe you're going to bite off a little bit more, but do it a little bit at a time and focus on the importance of being regular.
How has fitness evolved in your eyes over the years, since you've been exercising for so long, as far as the trends and what people are interested in, and being consistent?
Well, it's evolved tremendously. When I was in high school, and I was training, I mentioned this fitness competition. It was called the pentathlon. It was a 5-event fitness competition, which was held in conjunction with the state track meet. But it was a statewide competition. It was push-ups, chin-ups, bar vault, jump reach, and a 300-yard shuttle run. And the coach knew that I was involved with weight training. And he said, "Don't lift weights, because the athletes don't lift weights." I think that was the mindset. That's what the coaches believed. But fortunately, I didn't pay any attention to him, and that's why I won the contest. Beat everybody in the state. There was the only thing I didn't win was the shuttle run. And that has changed now, as you know. There's more people doing resistance training, or as many are doing jogging. When Dr. Cooper wrote his book, Aerobics, back in 1968, he said that weight training was like putting a wax job on a beautiful car that needed an engine overhaul. It didn't do anything except make an extra load for your heart. But even he has changed now. Dr. Cooper, the Cooper Clinic in Dallas, which I've been going to for about 27 years, and you should see the weight training complex they have there. And Dr. Cooper is just turning 85, and certainly is a guy that practices what he preaches, and says particularly after you turn 40 that the strength training becomes more important, and that's because you lose your fast twitch fibers. There are two different kinds of muscle fibers. There's the slow fibers, which are kind of endurance fibers, and those pretty much stay with people no matter what they do. But the fast fibers are the strength fibers. And at about 60, they just start going down. But if you have to use those fibers, it's use it or lose it business. So the strength training comes in at that point. And what really determines the aging process is your muscle mass and your strength. I've written an article on our website called Muscle Talk. And your muscles talk to every organ in your body. They drive your metabolism. People, as they get older, they say, "Gee, my metabolism is slowed down, and I'm gaining weight, and I just can't do anything about it. And I try to explain to them that it's not aging, and their metabolism will not slow down if they exercise and develop and maintain those fast fibers. If you don't slow down, your metabolism won't slow down. So it used to be all that jogging was fitness. That was it. It wasn't any more. Now we realize that the strength training is every bit as important as the jogging. And when you get in your later years, and I think Dr. Cooper would agree with this, maybe not quite as far as I'm going to go, but I think it's more important than the jogging. But you need to do the both for total fitness. And so the whole complexion of fitness has changed dramatically since I started lifting. Certainly since I was in the fifth grade with my dad's barbell. I still have some of that weights from that original set too.
You know, Mr. Bass, when I started working out 20 years ago, it's amazing you say that because I was actually told, of course, not to do a whole lot of cardio because I'd burn all my muscle off and all this sort of thing. But I did it anyway, but that was another thing that I think has kind of changed a little bit as far as saying that if I did too much cardio, I'd burn all my muscle away and then I wouldn't be, I couldn't do both of them at the same time.
I think that you're right, that's changed tremendously, but it's a different type of aerobics now. It's not just getting on the bike or getting on the treadmill like you see in many gyms, the people reading their newspapers. That's not right. You need to think about these fast fibers even in your cardio. So that's why interval training is so important. You need to push. My cardio fitness workouts are short and hard, and you get more benefit by doing the intensity, and you can do it in a lot shorter period of time. I've written a lot about the importance of intervals, and some of my workouts involve the rower. There's also a skier, something else that's put out by Concept 2. But my whole workout, my workout for the last weekend, which will be for my next weekend tomorrow, is a 400-meter, hard 400 meters on the rower and a hard 400 meters on the skier. That's the whole workout. If you do that right, you're not going to want to do that again. That's more effective than just going out and jogging. I see people going by our house all the time jogging. There's a wonderful fellow down the street, and I've told him that he just has this one gear that he's a whole half of his body's going untrained. He would include some sprinting there. He'd get a lot more benefits, and so that's another way. So it's the reflection on the strength training and on the aerobic training or the conditioning that's both changed dramatically.
Quality better than quantity.
Absolutely. Whatever you've been doing is good because you just look wonderful for your age, and we have some pictures that you sent us a while back, and
thank you so much.
You make us look darn good.
Thank you so much. Can you give us just a brief, or give the viewers a brief description of what you do as far as, you said your workout, you're doing the road, but just on a daily basis, like how many days a week or something for the viewers, I guess.
Yes, as I've been suggesting, the intensity people think when you get older, you better slow down and just not do anything that's very active because I might hurt myself. But that's the wrong approach. You need to have high intensity in your training as you get older for the reason that I stated. So when you train hard, you have to take longer to rest. So I only have people think that I work out all day every day, and they don't understand it at all. But I have two main workouts. One is a whole body weight workout. I do that on Tuesday, and then I have a whole body aerobic workout on Saturday. And those are there's two versions of the weight training, two versions of the aerobics. But it's also important what you do between the workouts. There's been a lot of research on this, and the people, it's just too much sitting they say can be as harmful as smoking, which is a startling statement. So when say you're working on your computer or at your desk or whatever you're doing, about every 30 minutes you should get up and move around, because it kind of starts the blood circulating, gets the blood to your brain. I know many times when I'm writing an article or something, or working on a problem, if I can't quite come through with it, if I go out and take a walk, it seems like within a block that everything is kind of going together. So this activity makes your body work better, makes your mind work better, makes everything work better. So I try to make it a point to be active on the days between the working out. My wife talked me into getting a pedometer. I didn't like the idea too much at the time, but I like it because it's a goal-setting thing. So, but it's important to be realistic. Most people, they say you should walk 10,000 steps. That's fine. My wife does it 10,000 steps, but 6,000 steps is better for me. So you want to set a goal or a target that you can do. So I walk about 3 times a day, and I get up and walk during the house. So I'm active between the workouts. And not only does that make you feel better, but I think it speeds the recovery, because it brings blood to your muscles, which is bringing the building products, and it's taking away the fatigue products. And it just makes everything in your life work better. It makes you think better. It makes you more efficient. And people, they say I should just sit there at the desk or at the computer and just grind it out. I'm not going to get up till I'm finished. If they get up and move around a little bit, they'll be finished a lot sooner.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bass, for coming on the show. Can you give us some information as far as if someone wants to go to your website or get one of your books, or where they can contact you?
Yes, the best way to contact us is through the website. It's very simple. They can't spell Clarence. So the website is simply cbass.com. And if they can't remember that, if they can remember my name, Clarence Bass, just type it in on Google and hit it, and they'll be amazed all the stuff that comes up. And they can also contact us by email or by telephone. So we're very accessible. I think we're the most accessible person in fitness.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bass, for coming on the show. I appreciate you. And if any of our viewers out there want to contact Mr. Bass, you can contact him with the information that he gave. Or if you want to contact me, you can call me at 901-366-2866 or visit YvetteSmith.com. Thank you for watching.